The Dingers podcast is on the air. Guys, it's been a while. But we're back.
What has it been? Since like a week after the World Series ended?
Yeah, I think, that was 101. Now we're at 102, episode 102. But yeah, I think we did into the season review, but we have a lot to talk about tonight. So I'm excited to be back on the mics with you guys. I missed seeing you guys' faces. I mean, it seems like long time since I've seen you guys in
ages. It's been ages.
And talk to you guys. So I'm excited, and we got a big announcement tonight.
Man, I should have brought a cake.
You should have brought a cake to celebrate. I mean, the last time you had a cake, ate the whole thing. And it's not that we signed Carlos Correa.
Unfortunately.
Or Christian Vasquez.
It's not that Jeff's getting married.
No.
Nope.
God, no.
It's not that we're having my best friend Ian Happ on the show. He's not yet. Growth's mindset. I'm still believe deep down that he one day will be on our show. I'm going to bring on a guest, and he's going to help us announce it. So I'm going to bring on my buddy Juice.
Gentlemen,
welcome to the show.
How are you guys tonight?
Doing great.
Not bad.
So with that, the big announcement, the Cubs get Carlos Correa. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just for now. No. Without further ado, want to announce that the Dingers podcast will be joining on Tap Sportsnet. And so excited to have you guys. Let me first start with saying, like, I've been a fan of you guys for 102 episodes, whatever this is now. I know our shows have had like really good back and forth.
Yep.
We've always been supportive of one another. Excited to have you guys on the On Tap brand. Jeff or Jake, I know you didn't bring, or Jeff didn't bring a cake, but I brought a Crack'em. That's what
I already
happened to
mine
do
because it's been a long day of seeing Jed do nothing. So I already cracked mine open.
Absolutely. So we have a little saying here at On Tap Sportsnet, Crack'em. You guys are part of the Crack'em crew. So excited to have you guys on to add to our Cubs content. We got some really good ideas. First of all, let me just say, for anybody listening to this show, On Tap Sportsnet is where you'll find these guys now. Make sure you're going over there for all your sports and literature needs. We have great writers over there. We're adding on to this. These guys are going to be able to have the access to some of our writers to jump on the show, any of the Cubs on Tap guys to come and shoot the shit with you guys. It's going to be awesome. I truly think that when you have two shows like we have collab, the sky's the limit. Yeah. And you guys do such a good job. I also want all the listeners to know this show's not changing. Like they're doing exactly what they've been doing for 102 episodes. It's going to be awesome. And they're just going to have more opportunity to add to the content. You're going to have more opportunities to go to, the post games that I know these guys watch us grind over. That's how they got into the On Tap, runs here. Just really excited to get with you guys and announce that, the Dingers podcast will be a part of On Tap Sportsnet starting today, first episode.
Yep, we're already on. If you go to ontapsportsnet.com, I think there's already an announcement on the page. Yeah, we're excited. I mean, we've been fans of On Tap, the Cubs On Tap guys. We've had on our show. I think Jake's been on the On Tap show. I think the Cubs On Tap before. I mean, we've been friends, and it's cool that two Cubs podcasts, that which sometimes you're fighting for listeners, that we've been so like good camaraderie between us, because I think we have other people to hate our team right now that we can be angry at, that we have kind of come together and kind of built a little small community, and that's what we're about. We're about coming together to build a bigger community of Cubs people that just want to talk Cubs and invent when they need to and share lives together. And so that's what we're kind of about. And now we're just doing it under the On Tap Sportsnet umbrella, and we get to kind of just collaborate together a little bit more. So it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is that all the access that we've kind of built, you'll have the access to. That means guests. That means getting into certain events that we've done in the past. I know that there's a big group of us, and we've announced this on our podcast, that are going to Cubs convention. You guys will, have the ability to do that as well, and join us and add into the content, the videos, and the YouTube stuff we're going to do with that. We're just, I feel like there's so many times you try your best to like make these marriages work, but like this just seemed so easily done, right?
Yeah.
It's a matter of your guys' views fit ours. It's, your guys' show is the same, if not close to what we do over at Cubs on Tap. Maybe we go a little bit overboard and kind of do each and every inning.
Yeah.
Where you guys do kind of mostly your broadband stuff throughout the week. But that's what's awesome that we're going to add this on there, because if you look around, and I know we started on Tap as the Chicago White Sox website, essentially. There's a lot of Sox fans that are within our on Tap Slack and our little community that we've made. But there's not that equivalent to the Cubs media base right now. There's no such thing as Cubs Twitter at the level that Sox Twitter has it, that level of closeness. And I think like this is maybe our first step to building that.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting to get on here, announce this, and just be a part of your guys' shows. I think too, like I listened almost every week to any show that you guys have put out, and just to, cherry pick some of your stuff and to listen to your comments when you guys jump in to our Slack stuff, and just to go back and forth. It's just easy. This seems easy. It's hard to like not be super excited for you guys to get onto this, because I feel like this just works.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're building the powerhouse, Juice. And I think
that's why I'm drinking already.
I don't know. I missed the memo. I got to check the fridge in a second here, but because I got to crack them on our first, I got to write on the first on tap dingers. But so I think
I'll be back.
There's just been such a great rapport that I think there's just been such a great rapport, as you mentioned, like between us and between the two entities. And so for us to all be under the same umbrella makes so much sense. I mean, when I had some guys drop out of my fantasy baseball league this past spring, it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the On Tap guys first and see if anybody wants to join. And Joey, who was in the comments, Luce, and Juice, you're not in it, right? You had to pass.
There's no way that
Next
I can
year.
keep up with that. There's no way. I've done fantasy basketball before, and that was too much for me.
Oh,
like,
Joe, no, yeah. I mean, it's a lot, especially and we do daily lineups, but the other Joey, I can't think of his last name. I don't think he does pods with
Joe Maris
anymore.
Yeah, Joe Maris.
Yeah.
But he's in the league as well. But it just is like so throughout the season, because you guys are doing the post game stuff, and now I'm in a group me with the guys for the fantasy league, and now we're in Slack together. It's just like the opinions that I care the most about, like the people that I want to like go back and forth the most about are like, the four of us here plus Kevin for our team. I mean, we're all on the same team now, right? So it's like, it just was when Mitch said that this was a possibility, I was like, hell yeah, like sign me up. I couldn't wait. So it's awesome that the day is here that we get to announce it. It's been in the works. Like, it's something that I know we've been talking about on our end since before the season ended.
Yeah.
Yep. And it became official, a month-ish ago?
Yeah, we haven't had me talking and having meetings, and then we're like, okay, when should we do this? Like, I think a couple weeks ago, we kind of like, hey, when should we do it? And Tony was like, hey, how about the next time you have an episode? I was like, well, that's like in a week. And he's like, all right, great, let's do it. And so go for it, which I love it. I love it. Let's why wait? And plus, like, winter meetings, got a lot to talk about.
Yep.
Let's start building that community now. And that's what I told him that I wanted. I want to build a big, huge Cubs community where we have each other's back and we just build it. And that's what people are drawn to. And that's what people want right now. They want to feel like they're part of something, and more of us together, the better. And so, yeah, it's awesome. So we appreciate you guys on Tap welcoming us to join you guys.
Yeah. And I think nobody is more excited for that other than Scott Crawford, our normal back and forth drop in guy. I'm sure he's doing backflips right now. It's going to be cool, man. Already in there, Scott. Already in, man. And I think the cool thing is it's going to be real simple for us to work together and to have you guys on Cubs on Tap shows. And if you guys have opinions and want to jump on and make sure that you guys are being heard. And we have so many resources and you guys have so many resources, and us coming together, I think it's powerhouse. I really do. I think this is just the beginning, and it ends up being hop on now or you're going to get left behind. That's just me. But I'm not going to be on the show very much longer today because I'm sure you guys got people to yell at. And
we got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover.
Yeah, and Cubs on Tap will record tomorrow, so I'm going to save my yelling and my voice for tomorrow. I know there's been some sickness running through on Tap, and I actually just got over it, so I would hate to lose my voice before tomorrow. But I just want to, congratulate you guys and make sure that, you guys are following these guys and going over, all your listeners are going over to OnTap Sportsnet to read the articles. And I think it just opens up so many different avenues and guests for you to have on and just content for you guys to create. And just the uniqueness of you guys being in Iowa and me being in South Bend and being able to cover, these teams closely that are in the pipeline. No other group can do that. I'm going to tell you that right now. We're the only place you're going to be able to find really deep analysis on Iowa and, South Bend here. We cover half of the farm system now within, which is amazing. It's awesome. And that's just a great pillar to build on for this show. And I'm excited, and I want to hang up and hear you guys yell about Jed Hoyer and no Carlos Correa yet, and everybody leaving and not going into, the Cub lineup for next year. But yeah, so excited. Like I said, enjoy your show. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Juice.
Thank you, Juice.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks,
Crack
Juice.
'em.
On that one, my last beer in the fridge.
There you go.
There we go.
All right. See you, Juice.
See ya.
Yeah. I mean, if you one thing that we have going for us is that now we have the OnTap Sports writing too, that goes along that. I know Ron Luce put out a great article today that
he put together
two of them. So we have all those articles that you can go and listen to or read, not listen to. Well, I mean, if you had speak to text or whatever that to read it to you, go for it. But you have that too. So you have us, you have Cubs on Tap. I mean, you have all the resources you need for Cubs information and Cubs talk. So like we say every time when we put out a tweet for our YouTube channel or to come listen to us is join our conversation. We want to interact with you guys, listeners. So hopefully this is just kind of the start of this season that we get into it, and we have a lot of fun along the way. So I'll start with what's on tap. Let's start with our ad for tonight because what's on tap is Toppling Goliath. To celebrate their 10-year anniversary, Toppling Goliath shared with us a Kentucky brand stout. So here's to 10 years and 10 plus more years. So go get your Kentucky brand stout from Toppling Goliath.
It's delicious, man.
Yeah. But let's catch up, man. It's been a while. So anything new going on, Jeff? Anything new? You're not married? Not getting married?
No, I'm not getting married. I don't know. I just had a good buddy of mine give me some sage advice when we went to the Jason Aldean concert after we had 19 beers. He goes, at your age, why get married? He goes, it'd be pointless. He goes, have all the fun you can while you're stuck in this place. I don't know. I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But so new for this month, I joined a 10,000 step a day challenge with the gym that's here in my hometown. So every day I got to make sure I hit 10,000 steps. I got to take a picture, put it on my Instagram story. Plus, I got to report from, my activity on my watch, how many steps I got, and I'm killing it. I
expect nothing less.
I haven't been under 15,000 steps.
Let's go.
Yesterday I was at 24. It was a Sunday. I got up at
working on a Sunday.
Right. I got up at 3:00 in the morning. I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, well, while I'm up, let's just hammer out 10 miles. Call it a day.
On Sunday, I've been hunting, and I walked all over my land in the snow hunting and didn't get one. It's all right. Next weekend.
That's right.
If it moves, it's dying next weekend.
If it's brown, it's down.
I put it out so many hours from bow season to gun season. I'm ready to get some venison. Yeah, sweet gibberish shirt on there, Jake. I like that. What's new with you?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're talking fitness, I'm back in the gym, boys. It feels really good.
You look strong.
I mean, whatever. I'm benching 155, boys. We're repping 155 out here. It's big time. No, I mean, it does feel really good. And honestly, like one of the biggest motivators was at the end of my men's league baseball season. I was like, I can throw harder than that. I was like, I can do better than this. And one of my buddies tweeted a really great workout regimen. Hit me up on Twitter if you want it. Great spreadsheet, just copy it. And it's a 5-day-a-week thing. And yeah, it's been great. And I'm feeling good. Other than that,
feeling good and looking good.
Hey, thanks, man. You'll see me. I got a new monitor, so you'll see me like look up if you're watching on video. So it's really great. I can have all the stuff that I want to read up here, and then I got the video down here. So,
good.
So I can keep you guys in frame too.
I have one
club in high school.
The what club?
Audio video club in high school.
Yeah, he was in the AV club for sure.
A little AV action.
I have one story because it's crazy. And it involves cats. So if you're a cat person, I know Jake's cat usually makes an appearance on our video podcast if you're watching on YouTube. But I moved to Northeast Iowa, and we have a lot of farm cats around, and my kids love it. They love all the cats, especially we have some like smaller kittens. It's been great. But my son has been doing wrestling. And so we have to like drive him out to school. And my daughter's been doing some softball pitching. And so we have to go to the high school, which is in a different location. And last week, my wife took my son Cannon to wrestling practice while I took my daughter to softball. And they come out of wrestling, and the school is like out in rural. It's not in town. It's like out in the middle of nowhere is the school. And they come out of wrestling practice, and there's this little kitten underneath my wife's van. And they're like, this isn't one of our cats. Like, where did it come from? Like, how did it get out here? And being the softies that my wife and son are, they decide to bring it home. And so we get another cat. And I was like, okay, we're not going to take this thing in the house. A day goes by, and kids get home from school, and they can't find the cat anywhere. And then my mom is scrolling through Facebook and finds on the Decorah Humane Society, which Decorah is a half an hour away from our town where I live, the picture of the cat that the Humane Society found in the Walmart parking lot. And it's that cat. And my wife had driven to Decorah that same day to get groceries. The cat ran underneath the van all the way to Decorah. And
that's a badass cat, man. You got to get that cat back.
Wait, the story is not done. So we're like, did this cat ride in a vehicle to the school? And that's how we found it. And little did we know that it was one of our friends that their cat, it rode with them to wrestling practice, got out of theirs, went underneath our van, and then we picked it up. God. The story gets even better is that cat got to be their cat the same way at a gas station. It hitched a ride under his truck to their farm. So it's hitched a ride like 3 different times in 3 different places. And so they're like, hey, it's $25 if you want to come get your cat. We're like, no, thanks. Because as soon as we bring this cat back, it's going to like hitch a ride somewhere else. And then we're just going to lose this cat and we're going to be out $25. So keep the cat, give it a good home. Deuces.
Damn. People hate on cats, but cats are badass, man. Like that's pretty metal. Just riding under moving cars.
I know, right? So yeah, I thought it was a crazy story. I was like, I need to share this because this is ridiculous. Kevin says cats are the worst. Kevin should just jump on and join us rather than throwing shade. throwing shade to cats.
That's my face, Kevin.
All right, well, let's get into it, man, because we got a lot to talk about. And man, I feel like it's been kind of a roller coaster of off season. Like I remember it was last week, I believe. It was like a Tuesday or Thursday. Life was good. I think it was Tuesday. Life was good. We signed Bellinger.
There were rumors that we were going to get Dansby and
Bogarts. We're going to get a both.
Yeah.
We signed Taillon. Cubs Twitter was hot in the streets. We were all smiling, getting along, cheering. And then Wednesday comes around. Jed doesn't do anything. Thursday, reports are that the Giants are back in for Correa. The Yankees are going to maybe go after Correa and maybe make a trade. The Twins now are hot in the trying to get on Correa. And the Cubs are left with Dansby Swanson. But now the Dodgers want him. Like what? And now we aren't signing Christian Vasquez. What is going on? Like we are the highs and lows of this last 2 weeks. I feel like it's just been crazy. So where are we at? Where are you at there, Jeff? You know, and emotions. Is your heart all right? Where are you at?
I'm pretty confused. Like the kind of confused where you fall asleep with your buddies on a road trip and you wake at a rest stop on the interstate and you're clueless to what zip code, area code, and state you're in, and you can't find a map. Like, I don't know what is going on with our front office and why they don't want to dust the cobwebs off our checkbook and just bring in some veteran leadership to help these young kids that are going to be coming up. It's just mind-blowing to me.
Jake, where are you at?
The thing that frustrates me the most, and I've heard, yeah, Ian, our buddy Ian Mahan says he misses my mustache. It'll come back. Somebody just mentioned, one of my friends mentioned that too. It'll be back eventually. I can't remember where I heard this, but it's the complete right sentiment that the thing that's probably the most frustrating is like you kind of get a sense that like the big market, I think Turner jumping the market was a surprise.
Yeah.
That tells me that like he was in contact with, like he and the Phillies have been in contact. He was talking to Harper. That was
he knew where he wanted to go.
That was in motion.
You knew.
And you know that Dombrowski's going to go crazy with the spending, and that's why they ponied up for Turner. And I think that contract's going to age pretty well, honestly. I was listening to one of the national podcasts, and they're like, hey, Turner might age kind of like Ricky Henderson. He might have that kind of speed and athleticism that just like goes into his late 30s. And you know what? For that guy, I hope it does. He's an exciting player to watch. The thing that the Cubs should be doing right now is continuing to add complementary pieces to make it attractive for Correa to join the team, to come in and join. Like Mancini needs to be signed. Justin Turner needs to be signed. Then you've got depth options. You've got some, like, I know Ian's going to hate me for this, but if you can get something for Patrick Wisdom,
trade him
after you sign Justin Turner, because you've got a backup third baseman in the minors waiting in Chase Strumpf. There are moves that can be made right now to make it more appealing for Correa to join the Cubs, and they're just not happening. And it's so frustrating to see that, like, why is everything so stuck and like just rusted? It's like the wheels they're not turning at all. I kind of, we'll get into it, but I kind of teased it earlier. I think there is some positivity to be had out there. But right now it's tough to see it because we're so clouded by what's not happening. And the fact of the matter is we're only a week away or a week removed from when the winter meetings started. Like there is still free agents out there, but they gotta make the signings happen.
And you talk about supplementing players, like that's the part. Like at this point, even if the Cubs signed Correa, it wouldn't do it for me. Like that, just that alone, like they need to add more pieces and they have to make it more attractive. Like right now, if you were Carlos Correa and you had the option between the Cubs or the Giants and Crawford was willing to move over to third, why would you not go to to the Giants.
See, I disagree though. I disagree. And that's something that I've been thinking of.
I mean, at least the Giants went out and did something yesterday. They went out and signed Mania.
Nothing, man. Cody Del Mendo was complaining about it on their podcast today. And I get the his sentiment was basically we couldn't make an offer to Mania. I don't think Mania makes this team.
I wouldn't want
now.
Mania. I wouldn't want it, but
it was 2 years, $25 million or something like that, which is a cheap deal for a veteran starter that's got experience. But Mania has not been very he was not good with the Padres
last season. If we bring up the Twins went and did something today. They went out and got a catcher.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the Twins already have pieces that if they stay healthy, they're gonna be good. But that's a huge if, right? And the other thing too is Correa knows what he's in for there.
Yeah, he does.
So it's tough to compete against that. A known quantity for him is a big deal. As far as I know, he doesn't have any connections in Chicago. No one to try to sell the team to him, right? That Stroman obviously last year, once free agency started again, he was hey, come join me on the north side. And that didn't happen. I don't think I've seen I remember that blew up for a week. So I don't think that's happening again this season. But the thing that frustrates me is I actually look at the Giants. So I wanted to get into comparing the big alternate cases outside of the Cubs of where Correa could end up, right? So we already talked the Giants. We touched on the Twins a little bit, and then now are the Yankees in the mix? Maybe. I think of course I'm biased, right? But I meant to look at the farm systems, but I think okay, let's take a step back here. Look at the divisions. Look at the divisions that you're joining and the position that the teams are in their respective divisions. If you see a division that is ripe for the taking, it's the NL Central. It's wide open. I know we're going to talk about it. I don't really care that the Cardinals signed Willson. I don't care. I don't think that makes
he's
their
dead
team
to me now.
I mean,
his comments.
It sucks.
No.
Yeah. The comments. There was one that he said something when Pujols hit 698 or something, and they were there.
What
for
a load of shit!
It was he was oh, this is how a fan base. I'm paraphrasing. He was this is how a fan base gets up. I'm bro, Cubs fans worshipped you, and it's just he's saving face. He has to appeal to the card. But getting back to it, the NL Central is ripe for the taking, as I said. The thing that's the most confusing is that Jed's been making the complimentary signings. Stroman and Seiya are phenomenal complimentary signings. You need the superstar to make them better to make those signings look better. So and
I'm saying
doing it in reverse order.
Seiya would be having somebody to bat around Seiya. I guarantee you his numbers will be better.
1,000%. If you get protection in that lineup, for sure he gets better.
Will be better.
It elevates the lineup on so many levels. Hitting is contagious. And looking at the other teams, the Twins, I think the Twins are competitive. It's the Twins and the Guardians atop the AL Central, right? And I think if the Twins stay healthy, they've got a good case to take the Central away from the Guardians. But the Guardians are getting better. They signed Josh Bell. They've got young talent. That's a difficult team.
They got pitching.
They're a scrappy team. They've got pitching. They've got a bullpen. They've got Jose Ramirez. Andres Jimenez came out of nowhere last year and became a stud all-star that he was expected to be. And then you look at the Giants, man, and I'm sorry, the Giants don't do anything for me. The Giants don't do anything. No. The one thing that maybe would be appealing to me is ooh, San Francisco would be cool to live in. It'd be cool to be a millionaire living in San Francisco. I mean, to each their own, right? But we don't know what he's thinking. Maybe Correa's always wanted to live in San Francisco. Let's hope not. But looking at the team, they signed Mitch Haniger. Okay, I do want to get Ian's made some good comments that I do want to get to. But to wrap this up, I really think if you're looking at the team structure, honestly, like the Twins are, I think, are bigger competition for us than the Giants are, unless he's only looking for money because he's already won the championship. But I don't think that's the case.
The Dodgers still kind of scare me because they need a shortstop, and you haven't heard anything from them. And they kind of work kind of like, I'll say this about Jed. When Jed signed Seiya last year, you didn't hear a peep the whole time that Cubs were in on Seiya, and then bang, it happened. Jed works that way a lot of times. And the Dodgers do the exact same thing. And I'm kind of afraid that the Dodgers are going to swoop in and get Swanson or just kind of fiddle with the whole thing. They're going to be a factor that might throw a wrench in us getting either one or the other. So that's where I'm at.
What if the Braves just sign Correa? Just give up on Dansby?
I don't know if they.
Now,
I don't think that's the way the.
How much did Dansby's salary just go up by being the last available decent shortstop?
I don't think the Braves want Swanson. Like if they've shown that they will extend who they want, and they've already extended their guys, and so I think they're kind of.
I think that the thing is like I don't think we're seeing how the Braves operate, right? Like they're locking up the talent young. They didn't go all out for Freeman, who was their dude.
Yeah.
And I don't think I think Swanson's more likely to end up with one of the other rumored teams. I mean, quote me on this, like, bring this as, old takes exposed, but I'm not worried. Well, I'll put it this way. I think I'm jumping the gun on our show notes here. I'm not worried about Swanson at all. I don't really care where he ends up. I don't want him. I don't really want him anymore because at this point he just feels like a consolation prize. And it's just like, oh, we got Swanson, and that sucks for him too, man. Like that sucks for him to be brought in.
The reason why I want him is because he would make this team better. Like, honestly, he would make this team better. And you don't know what will happen next year or if there's any trades. Like the thing that we are forgetting about, we look at next year's free agent class, and there's Ohtani, and there's not much really after that. But we do have a loaded farm system, and you don't know what trades might come available. Like the trade today, the 3-team trade, like that wasn't even on the radar last year. Like, and so these things come up where you don't know what Jed might move when he makes a trade. And so like the trade with Darvish, like when he sees an opportunity, I still like it's hard because I'm really struggling with Jed right now. Me and him are in a really difficult spot in our relationship, but I still have a little bit of belief that he can make a good trade. He's actually proven that he's better at trading for assets than signing assets. And so that's where I'm at. Let's welcome to the show, Kevin, because he's been in the background. Kevin, how's it going?
It's going well, buddies. How are you doing?
He's the absolute worst ginger on this podcast.
Bold.
I got to move these. There we go. Hey, Kevin, we're part of On Tap Sportsnet now.
Hey, it's out there. It's in the know.
It's in the know. Awesome. We've been yelling a little bit at Jed to catch you up. That's about it.
Yeah. Have you guys quoted the meme or GIF or whatever where it's like poke, do something?
No,
poke.
But that's where we're pretty much at. Let's circle back a little bit. Let's talk about our actual signings. And then we can go on to ranting about what we're not doing. But we did sign Jameson Taillon. I really like the signing. If it came down to Senga or Taillon, the more I've kind of dug into it today, I like Taillon. If it wasn't for cancer and some Tommy John surgeries that he's had, I think his career would be totally different, and he would be talked about like a Garrett Cole. Like, I mean, he came in with the Pirates system of being like the guy, like Garrett Cole was. Like, and I read this quote today, and Jake, you will like it, that he is a bulldog on the mound. There's your bulldog.
We love bulldogs.
Bulldog quote.
Dog in him.
But like the dude doesn't walk people. He has a real good curveball. His breaking pitches, he's just, his walk rate is 4.4%, third lowest in the MLB. Like, you gotta love that. ERA 3.19, 151 Ks and 171 innings. So he eats up innings this last year for the Yankees. And the deal, 4 years, $68 million. Like I feel like that's a pretty good price. Maybe I would have liked it a little bit less, but I mean, in this market, that's what you're going to get. I did hear that Jake went to school with Jameson Taillon's girlfriend. They went to the same middle school, but she was way out of his league. Is that true?
No, my wife's hotter, so you're wrong.
I saw that tweet that you like went to the same middle school. I was like, is that true? Like,
yeah, I never met her, but I had mutual friends with her, and she moved to Texas, I think. And I think they both went to TCU. I think that's where they met. She moved to Texas before freshman year of high school, where we would have gone to the same high school. So I'll hit her up. I'll be like, hey, you don't remember me, but
tickets.
We want Jameson on the pod.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And
I was thinking about it, I was like, I have no idea. Like, she'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? Get out of here.
I hear he's a big coffee drinker. He makes a mean cup of Joe. But like, I was listening to a podcast from Talking Yanks today that was specifically on Taillon, about him being able to handle New York. It was like when he first signed with the Yankees and he was struggling at one game where he struggled and people were like, oh, you can't handle New York. And then he went on to pitch great the rest of the season. And Jimmy was just like, guys, he's battled through cancer. He has one nut and he has Tommy John twice. Dealing with you idiot fans is the least of his worries. And so like, I'm excited to have him on the mound, eating up innings, not walking anybody and giving free passes. And I think that Cubs fans are really gonna learn to love Jameson Taillon. Now, I don't think he's like a number one starter.
No.
And when you look at our rotation, we don't have a number one. We have a lot of like 2, 3, 4 guys, not a lot of number ones. And I'm just saying, Carlos Rodon is still available.
Right. Hey, Jed, you want to?
Not in the years that he wants.
No. I'm just saying, like, he would be great, but I mean, I've really struggled with this whole market because it's blowing up, and I can understand where Jed is at. I'm a tightwad. My wife hates it because I don't like spending money at all. And man, I can sympathize with Jed a little bit because I'm looking at these contracts and it's like 10 years, 12 years.
Well, I mean,
I might be dead in 12 years. I don't know.
Right.
Like, that's a long time.
And,
like,
what really sucks is
that's kids all the way through birth through elementary, all the way into junior high, starting high school. Like, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But it's like when Judge came off the board, that's like when the market got reset to what it is. I mean, his $400 million deal for 9 years. How old is he? Is he 24?
Taillon?
Aaron Judge.
Oh, Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge, he's 30.
He's 30. He's an old
30.
man.
So he's going to be 39 by the time his contract expires?
That was the whole thing, man. That's why I was like, I didn't expect the Cubs to be on him, but that's why I was like, I can't understand why anybody would.
He's going to walk like Pujols before the end of this contract.
Yep.
And that's where I can understand a little bit where it's like, man, these contracts are just so ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm like, that's the market you have to spend if you want to be good right now. If you want to be good in 2 years, 3 years from now, like, you can't like front load the contract and put in some AVAs. Like, you have to do that right now. You have to.
And the point that keeps being made up is like, or brought up, is that every year these deals are just getting more and more expensive. Yeah. So like it's been beaten to death, but like the deal that we could have gotten Correa on last year looks fantastic now. The deal that Bryce Harper is on right now looks fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it just at some point we're gonna have to make one of these big free agent signings. And then the way that things should be prioritized is land one of these big free agencies. And I'm looking at the next two free agent the next two free agent hitter classes, nothing.
Yeah. I looked at it today. Dry. I looked at it today. I was like, ooh, sad.
It's Shohei and it's Rafael Devers. And if Chaim Bloom wants to keep his job in Boston, he's extending Rafael Devers, or
he's throwing some bags
He's
upon
dead meat.
bags. At
So
him.
that means there's nobody out there. This is the time to get it. And then if there are fans out there who are so worried about the Ricketts money, you extend the young guys. You take the chance on young guys. Like, people are like, oh, well, they didn't extend any of the core. I made a point to tweet the extension that Anthony Rizzo signed in 2013.
People
and
forget
it
about
was
that.
Very club friendly.
Yeah.
It was like 12 million a year or something like that. It's insane. And it's like, these young guys, like, the free agent system is all messed up. But these young guys, like, look at what the Braves are doing, man. Look at how they have Acuna locked up, and Albies locked up, and Grissom, and Spencer Strider. They've got 4 studs locked into that team through, like, I think 2030. So the Cubs need to spend the big money now, and then lock up these young guys that are coming up. Show the guys that you believe in them.
Yep. Yeah. Another signing, which I will give credit where credit is due. Jake, you were on this from the get-go that you wanted Bellinger. You wanted the Cubs to sign Bellinger, and we got him. Now let's hope that we get the 2017, 2018, 2019 Bellinger, where he had 39 home runs, 35 home runs, and 47 home runs, with a WAR of 7.7 in 2019. I would take that. If he put up those numbers this year and we didn't sign Correa, a lot of people would have to eat their words about this team, because I think that we could be a playoff team if he put up those numbers.
If he puts up like a 3.7, I'll be stoked.
Right.
I mean, that would put him at the 2017. That would be in 548 plate appearances, 39 home runs, a WRC plus of 138, and that would be a 3.9 WAR. If we got even that Bellinger with his defense, like, I mean, it's a good signing. 1 year, take a risk. I like it.
It's what this front office has been doing for the last few years. They flip a guy, sign him.
Which I could see him being like a Jock Peterson, depending on where we're at and what he's doing. Hopefully we aren't at that position, because we've moved past that, because we will actually make the playoffs this year. But like, I do like the signing. It's fun. It'll be a kind of fun one to watch him grow. I mean, he has some stuff to prove. He has a lot to prove, and hopefully that he gets back to his old swing. I know his launch angle really increased the last 2 years, so hopefully we can see a little bit different Cody Bellinger and get back to and it might be where he gets back to being healthy. Like, the last couple of years, he's really been struggling with injuries, but he still played a great defense at first and in center field. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what we get out of Bellinger.
Definitely.
What
about you, Jeff? Do you like the Bellinger signing?
I do. I mean, it's just a 1-year deal, so it's not like, and it's $17.5 million. It's not like we invested long term in him. Plus, isn't there like a club option maybe for another year or something?
It's a mutual option.
Yeah,
it's a mutual option.
Whatever that means.
So it's 12.5 for this year, and then there's a $5 million buyout if the Cubs if they decline the option. So it's gonna be declined, because he would have to be really, really bad this season for him to opt in for a $5 million option next season. And the Cubs have the option to decline it as well. So it's effectively $17.5 million. That's why it's being quoted as such.
No, I mean, I think as long as he can play to somewhat of the level that he used to be at,
still be better than Ortega out there.
Right.
Just think about
%,
base running alone.
Like, I mean, but also like defensively, and he's obviously got more offensive upside than Ortega. Like, he has every reason to prove it. Yeah, for sure. For sure. He has every reason to prove it this season, because if he doesn't, he's making the improvements this offseason so that he can ball out next season and then get paid next offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And I think Chicago's a great place for him to prove it. He's going to get all the playing time in the world.
Yep. He'll be out there every day. unless injury, he's going to be our center fielder. So excited that we at least know that. Let's get into a little bit of Correa. I mean, we've talked about Correa and Swanson talk. Kevin, Jake doesn't want Correa. Where are you at? Or doesn't want Swanson. Where are you at with Dansby?
What's weird is like I don't know a lot about him. Just for some reason he's flown under my radar.
He's sexy.
Yeah,
He looks good. He's got the beard, the 5 o'clock shadow.
That's what I've heard.
He's married now to a girl that plays soccer in Chicago already. Like, come on.
And for the national team.
You're a big soccer football World Cup guy.
That's true. That's true. All true things.
Loser.
I don't know. I just this market has gone so weird. I mean, are we interested in paying a guy for 10 years? Like
not Swanson.
No.
Right.
Definitely not Swanson.
Right.
I paid the Schwann's man for 10 years.
You like your ice cream, Jeff?
Yeah.
Get that stuff delivered to the front door. Let's go.
I don't know. I struggle because if we're gonna sign somebody for a long-term contract, it might as well be Correa. I don't know that as much as I'm angry that the offseason hasn't gone as planned, I don't know.
There was no plan, Kevin.
Well,
To spend wisely is what it was.
Here was my idea thinking about this. Like, I think Jed has kind of had a plan for a while now. Like, and I think it started way back, like him and I would say back in 2018 with Theo. I think they had this plan of like, hey, like these guys like Chris Bryant, like injury prone, like Schwarber struggling, like let's see what we're going to do here. And I think they had a plan that we're not going to sign these guys. There was no contracts. Possibly there would have been with Rizzo and with Baez. I think those were the two that were legitimate that they could have maybe got a contract in, but the rest of them, I think that was their plan. And I think they were banking on Correa, and I think they were banking on adding a couple. But I think the market has changed so much that it caught Jed off guard. I think it really did. I think he got caught a little bit of planning so much that now he's stuck having to rely on the youngsters so much because he's just not willing to give that big contract. He's not. He's said it. He doesn't like long-term contracts. And so I think he got caught a little bit
in this market,
trying to be too finicky with his own plan.
Yep. And this market went so long-term heavy.
But at the same time, and I tweeted this out, I think they have offered Correa and Swanson legitimate, decent contracts, and I bet they're going around 10 years. I think it's going to come down to where do they want to play. And I think Correa, just like last year, is going to take his time. He's a Boris agent. He's going to take his time and make the decision. And he will take that 1-year deal and bet on himself. He won't do it again, but I think like it's going to come down to where do they want to play. But I think they're both kind of waiting for the other one and who's going to push the envelope and maybe offer a little bit more or more years.
Maybe this is jumping the gun, but do you think the Cubs are the sexy spot to land for these players?
How are the teams left? We talked a little bit, but
can you bring up Ian? Can you highlight a comment that Ian made? It was at 9:06. Because I want that's a good. It's basically Kevin's question, and I wanted to highlight that. So Ian said, one of the things I'm most concerned about is what the perception of the Cubs to players around the league may be right now. Are we cheap? What has Contreras said, or Rizzo, or Baez, or Bryant? Something to consider. And Ian, I think that's a phenomenal question. And I think that it's something that's maybe being overlooked right now.
I don't think they're cheap. I don't like the Contreras thing. I don't think Jed wanted a bat first catcher.
I think that it was smart. like I love him as the heart and soul, but like Cody laughed when the Cody Delmendo laughed on CHGO Cubs when it was like, oh, the rumor is out there to the Cardinals, and Cody said, I hope they do it because the contract isn't going to age well, and he's probably right because you know, what did he put up, like a 133 WRC plus or something last season to catcher? That's awesome, but his legs are not going to age well. And he's not going to be a top
all of the Cubs
player at first base or corner outfield.
And all the Cubs pitchers ERA was way better with Yan Gomes catching. All their stats were better with Yan Gomes catching.
But I think there's more. The better part of that question is, what are the players saying to each other about playing for the Cubs? Obviously, we know Yu Darvish sold Seiya on the team. Thanks again, Yu. But like, what are the rest of the guys saying? Because you know, like, these guys have some of these guys have the same agents. They're talking, they're asking, you know,
but
like,
I mean, what were they saying before John Lester signed?
A totally different group of players though. Right?
I know, but like, it's
totally
going to take that one player that wants to make a difference and make it their team and do something big. That's what like why Lester signed. He wanted to do something big and bring the first championship to Chicago. It's going to take like, is Correa that guy that wants to like, no, I want my team.
Yeah, put him on his back.
I want to do that. Like, and he will be the face until PCA or somebody else comes up alongside him. But like, does he want to be that? Oh, yeah. I think Jeff had a little bit of like, he brought up the PTSD to me yesterday that like, that's why he thinks Jed with the Hayward contract. And that's been brought up a ton on Cubs Twitter. I don't know if it plays a factor. It probably does a little bit in the back of Jed's mind. I don't know. What were you thinking, Jeff?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking is if you are the general manager of the Chicago Cubs and you sign some guy to a long-term big money deal and he flops as bad at the plate as Hayward did. I mean, can he really? Oh, but he's a Gold Glove right fielder. Everybody knows if you play right field, you're the worst player on the team. Okay.
Just go watch Coach ball game.
But at the same time, sometimes that happens.
Not ball game. Yeah,
Sometimes you go to buy a new car and you buy one and it's a lemon and it sucks. Yeah. That doesn't stop you from buying another car.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Like you look at some of the other deals that they've made with players like you. It took him a couple seasons to fall, like, you know, get into his groove and pitch really well. And then who was the closer they signed from the Dodgers that played like, you know,
Brandon
Morrow.
Yeah. Okay, that sucked. I mean, is he starting to get nervous about signing people because he's?
You can't though.
You can't.
Right. You have to. It's the game. You know.
Pull the checkbook out. Just sign on the dotted line and hand somebody. You fill out.
You can't play scared. Yeah, you can't play scared. 100%. Like he needs to. Again, you got to spring for one of these contracts eventually. And I know, like, there's also the dangling of like, oh, maybe Manny Machado opts out next year.
No, I do not want Manny Machado.
Right. Like, I'd rather have Correa, but I don't know, man. I mean, it just is like it's just.
Yeah,
you know,
Jeff
you signed somebody for 12 years, and after like year 7, he sucks. He said, "Yeah, we're going to give you your outright release."
The bad thing about this, we've talked about Carlos Correa as a baseball player. Love him as a person. I can't stand him. And then Manny Machado, I can't stand him as a person. But
I think it's more warranted for Manny. But I think like I talked about this on the previous episode. I think that Correa would be one of those guys, just like Javi, where you have him on your team and you love him.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Probably. I like Jeff was feeling this a little bit.
Sometimes I think all that Santa crap's just bull. If he was so real, how come we didn't get squat last year? We didn't do nothing wrong and we still got the shaft.
That's how he feels. That we're just getting the shaft.
That's right, we are.
Santa isn't bringing us any presents this year because we've been bad little boys and girls.
I'm shitting bricks. Sorry. Shitting rocks.
Yeah. Man. Where else? Where are we gonna go from here?
Can I do one silver lining? Can I do one silver lining really quick?
Give
a
us
little
some
note
silver
of
lining.
positivity.
Make us feel good.
Everybody's talking about it. I know, like I've seen it on Twitter here and there. Ian Mahan just dropped a nice little. I love Christmas Vacation. That's my favorite Christmas movie. Yeah. I'm on record. That's like hands down. But if the worst case scenario happens and we don't trade or we don't sign Correa, Ian, I'm getting those designed. I'm designing a T-shirt for Ian. Listen to his song Tinker to Everest a Chance. I am in the process of designing a shirt for him. Silver linings are for losers is one of the lines in the song. Anyway, little plug for our guy. I still hope that we can sign Justin Turner because as much as I love Patrick Wisdom as a person, we need insurance there. You still need a veteran guy to teach leadership, World Series champion, etc. I'm still okay with Nick Madrigal getting run at second base. I still want to see what the guy can do for an entire season if he stays healthy.
Exactly. If he can play 140 to 145 games and play like he did in August, I'm fine with that.
Right.
It's not the best case scenario. I want people to know that it's not the best case scenario. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want that to be where we're entering 2023 as a Cubs team. But if we don't sign one of the big shortstops, that's what's going to happen. And at least we'll know for sure what quantity we have with Madrigal. And I know we thought about that going into last season and it bit us in the ass, but I still think that there's a huge question mark there. And I still have faith. This dude has done nothing but hit. And think about the injury that he suffered. Like a quad torn off the bone for a guy who's supposed to be speedy. That's big.
We're definitely going to see a better Nick Madrigal this year. We are. He's going to play more. He'll probably be a little bit healthier. Hopefully his swing, he finds it again, finds it like he did in August because there for a stretch, he was playing really good. Now, I am a little concerned about eliminating the shift in the defense, how that's going to play, which that can be a whole nother episode in a couple weeks when this whole thing shakes out. If we are stuck with Madrigal, we can dig deep into that. But yeah, it is kind of a silver lining. We do have
getting rid of the exaggerated shift.
Yeah. So everybody has to be on the infield.
Yeah.
And you can't have a guy overpassed.
Two infielders on either side of second base.
Yep. Did you want to get into, Jake, a little bit about Mervis, or do we want to wait on that and talk about that next time?
I mean, just really quickly, I just think that we can't just pencil Mervis in for a 135 WRC plus, right? We can't.
Why not? I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, it's a good question though, Kevin, and it's because it's
pencils over here. You can't tell me what I can do with it.
I mean, fine, go ahead, write it down. I can't stop you.
Wait, Foolish Baseball, they're predicting that Matt Mervis will be a 122 WRC plus.
That's great. Mm-hmm. That's great. If you can get that's awesome.
That's better than everybody on our team right now.
You know what that means to me? Absolutely nothing.
Jeff, get up on these advanced statistics. They're not even advanced anymore. The thing is,
he didn't take statistics in high school.
I didn't in college.
I never took statistics, so whatever. I need to see a depth option. Yeah. I need to see someone else there. I like Trey Mancini too. I think Trey Mancini is totally underrated.
He's beat cancer too.
I don't think he's going to be a stud.
Let's take everybody that's beat cancer.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be a stud, but
I think he still has both testicles though.
Yeah, he had colon cancer. I think.
Yeah, not all cancers go right there.
Yeah.
Can Jameson still ride a bike since he only got one nut, or does he have to sit funny?
That's a good question. We'll ask him when we get him on the pod, Jeff.
All right.
And Scott brings up wisdom is at first for your depth, but Scott, we deserve better.
Stop settling.
I love Patrick
Stop
Wisdom.
settling.
I love Patrick Wisdom. He's proven to me that he can hit the ball over the fence every once in a while. But like,
I'll tell you what.
I need
Scott, you would
more.
love Patrick Wisdom playing at Iowa, hitting home runs there, Washington,
Yeah, there
every
you
single
go.
day in Des Moines. You would love it.
I just like if we have Patrick Wisdom coming off the bench, awesome. That's great. I think like Matt Mervis and Trey Mancini are a good platoon. It gives you more options at DH. Ian did not know that you were a survivor. Hats off to you. Ian said Taillon and I are a full ball sack together. Yeah, let me just really quick. He said survivor's rule, just a really quick. There's a tip. That's the least I can do.
Congrats.
Yeah, I don't know, guys.
I
just
something
think
to
that
the
like
other side to make it look full, or is it like?
Oh, jeez.
Jeff's got questions after the show. Hit him up, DM him.
I want to. We're really getting off the rails here. Final thoughts is like I want all of our prospects who are brought up to be put in a position to succeed. I don't want that pressure to be on them that like they have to be the one. I've talked about this a ton of times. I don't want them to be the one that we're counting on. Send him a DM after the show. I don't want him to have to be the one that we're counting on for the production.
Yeah.
Like if he's scuffling, get somebody else in there, let him rehash his stroke in the cages, and then switch it back up when he thinks he's fixed. Don't make him like power through it. You don't want to break these guys, right? I think that's what happened to Albert Almora. You know, I think about him being brought up too soon. Look at how much Ian Happ scuffled there for a bit, right? Before he had to go back down to the mine. We don't have that time. I don't want to see that happen with our studs again, our prospect studs.
Yep. We're gonna end with we're gonna start a new segment called "You Can't Fix Stupid." Jeff is gonna own this.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Surprise, Jeff is gonna be.
So for those of you who don't know me, I have a little saying is that you can't fix stupid, but you can numb it with a 2x4. So I found this article on this fugitive who was busted after applying for a job at a New Jersey sheriff's office. So she
fugitive? Okay.
Yeah, fugitive. So she apparently at least closed one case, her own. A fugitive wanted for fraud was busted when she walked into a New Jersey office and asked to be hired, according to the police. I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name. Zamia Johnson starts with the Z.
Zyeama.
Whatever. 27.
I've been teaching English lately.
A former
Zama.
postal service worker. How did she get a job at the post office? She got a record anyway.
They're hiring They're hiring everywhere
Jesus.
right now.
So was on the run for the crime in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, when she applied to work at the Hudson County Sheriff's Office, according to the Jersey Journal. So she was, prior to applying for the job, she was also wanted on 10 bench warrants for failure to appear on traffic charges. So they got her to come to the sheriff's office on the guise that she was going to get an interview for this job.
She was going to be a security officer.
Oh my God.
I don't get this. So if you know you're on the run and there's a warrant out for your arrest.
They also discovered stolen credit cards and got her on credit card theft charges as well.
Yeah, she had two stolen credit cards on her too when she went in there for that job interview. Now, I'll be honest, like the last time I applied for the job I have now, and they're like, hey, we're going to offer you the job. It's just pending a background check. You start sweating bullets like, what did I do that I'm forgetting about?
Right. And they have that question like, you have disclosed everything that has ever happened to you, right? And you're always like,
I'm pretty sure
what
if you
am I
moved from
forgetting?
Pennsylvania to New Jersey for a reason that has to do with a warrant, you probably should go to a sheriff's office and get a job.
Yep. All right. Well, that's Jeff's "You Can't Fix Stupid" segment. But yeah, I mean, we're in it now. This is the new season of our podcast. We'll hit up every 2 weeks. 3 weeks, just kind of depending on the winner. We'll keep you guys updated when the next episode, but we're just scratching the surface on digging into all the topics that we could be talking about in an hour-long episode, because there's a lot to cover. So the next time we get together, if you have something that you want us to talk about, hit us up, DM us, join the conversation. I'll keep saying that. We want to talk to you guys, Cubs fans. We want to hear your frustrations. It was great. I think one of my posts this week there was like 256 comments on it. That's awesome. We want to interact and hear your guys' thoughts. And so it's fun to engage and interact with you guys. So keep hitting us up, keep talking. And yeah, we're excited to join On Tap Sports. We're going to build a strong Cubs community, and that's what we're about. That's what I'm about. That's why I wanted to join On Tap Sports, is because I want to join the Cubs On Tap podcast and us together to be able to build a big, strong community of Cubs fans and being able to discuss topics like we've talked about tonight together. So yeah, we're trying to figure out how we can interact better with you guys. So if you have any ideas, DM me at Dinger Cubs on Twitter, and make sure you download and subscribe to our podcast wherever you can find podcasts. So yeah, that does it for episode 102 of the Dingers podcast. Thanks for listening.
We'll talk to you next time after we sign Austin Hedges.